evening, everyone, and welcome to this webinar where we're talking about the Milpark Education PGDA and hoping to provide you with lots of useful information about it. My name is Tracy Kraus. I'm the head of department here at Milpark for the postgraduate programs in the School of Professional Accounting. That's a fancy way of saying I oversee the PGDA program, which we're going to be discussing this evening, as well as our bridging program, which we're going to discuss in a separate webinar tomorrow evening. I'm very happy to be joined by such wonderful individuals on the panel this evening. So I'm going to ask each of them to introduce themselves so you know who is here and who is sharing with you. Joné, you're top left for me, so let's start with you.
Great. Good evening, everyone. I am Joné Pienaar, and I am the subject head for everybody's favorite subject, management, accounting, and finance, in the postgraduate team. And yeah, I'm a passionate academic, mom of two. Yeah, I'm looking forward to guiding you through tonight and answering any questions that you guys might have.
Fumi, over to you.
Great. Thanks, Tracy. Good evening, everyone. My name is Qheya, and I'm a senior lecturer in financial reporting, FINEC, for some of you are accounting and some of you may be familiar with. And I think we are the favorite subject, but it's okay. We are not going to get into whose subject is better than who. So I'm based in Pretoria. I've been with Milpark now for over 3 years and looking forward to engaging with you on this webinar and basically answering all the questions that you might have.
Awesome. Thanks, Fumi. Angela.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Angela Mibey. I'm one of the Student Success and Wellness Advisors here at Milpark. And what that essentially means is that I am one of the people that support students and just allow you all to achieve academic success, but not just your academic success, also looking at wellness and your overall well-being. So yeah, that's what I do.
Thanks, Angela. So good to have you with us. Then the rest of our panel are alumni from our program, which I'm very excited to introduce to you. Zainab, you're unmuted. Why don't you introduce yourself first?
Hi, my name is Zainab. I am a full-time mother of 4, and I have just passed my PGDA this year. I did my degree at a contact university and then took a break for 19 years. Life just happened, and after about 2 years ago, I joined the Milpark bridging program, which I did the half workload of 2 subjects, and then I did the second 2 subjects. After passing that, I decided to take a leap of faith, and I did the PGDA on a full workload, which was very hectic, but thankfully I passed, and it was like a fantastic journey. And I'm happy that I did it through Milpark.
Yay. Well, thank you, Zainab. Really appreciate you being here. Melissa, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. My name is Melissa Ntamo. I'm from East London and I currently reside there. I'm the P24S cohort, successfully passed my PGDA. I got my results in September after I got my sub results, which should tell you that you never give up in PGDA until like your last chance. Just give it your all. So I started with the bridging program in January 2024, and I'm happy to say that it's been a splendid journey with Milpark. I absolutely don't regret anything. I think I made the right choice for myself. And I just wanted to emphasize on the importance of these sessions. 2 years ago, I was in the same position as you guys, trying to find out if this is the best decision to move from a contact university to an online institution. So please, guys, I would really encourage you to ask as much questions as you want to, and we'll try our best to cover all your questions. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for that. It's amazing, like going from the journey from being in the session to where you are now, Melissa. And I'm sure that there are people sitting here who are going to go on the same journey, which is really exciting. Awesome. Mzumpiwe, do you want to go ahead?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ntsikwe. I also reside in East London, which is, I also work here. I also did my PGDA at Milpark. I passed this year, similar to Melissa. I was 2024 July intake. I joined there. I took the full workload, which was very hectic considering that I was a full-time employee and I was a third year trainee at the time, and that was demanding on its own together with the PGDA. But through thriving with the assistance of the Milpark support systems, I managed to do it through joining sections such as your drop-in sessions, which I think they will be discussed here so that you guys understand. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And last but not least, over to you, Rodney.
Hi everyone, my name is Rodney Redlinghuis. I come from a town called Clarksville, Northwest, and I also did my degree at a contact university. I attempted CTA, and I didn't make it. But once you try CTA, it kind of gets to you, and it doesn't let you go. And so after a few years, I managed to work myself up, and I'm a qualified professional accountant, and I work full time. And I opted for the half workload in bridging in 2023. Finished that and did my first year of half workload for PGDA in 2024. And I just wrote my exams for 2025, all 4 subjects, and I'm waiting for my results. And hopefully it'll be good. Yes, if you are considering a distance university like Milpark, like Melissa said, ask questions now, and we'll be more than happy to answer them. But if I can give you some advice, it's worth it. try Milpark. You won't be disappointed. Anyway.
Awesome. Thank you, Rodney. So as everyone said, we really want to give you the information that you'll need in making the decision about whether this is the PGDA program for you and how it actually works, any questions that you might have. There is a chat function on the side. Please feel free to post your questions there. We have other team members just answering in the chat, but we'll also do our best to address as many questions as possible in the conversation. So to kick us off, I'm just going to share some kind of high-level information about the PGDA to set the stage and help you understand a bit about what the program is kind of designed to do and how it has been crafted to partner with you on the learning journey. As Rodney said, CTA can be this challenging mountain, but once you've attempted it, once you've got in there, sometimes like Zainab, there's a bit of a break, but you come back to it and you want to take it on. So firstly, to say that our PGDA was designed with the intention of highlighting flexibility and support. We really felt that there was a gap in the market where particularly working students, needed a program where they could have full support but with flexibility while they had other responsibilities. Now, you might not be working full-time while you're studying. Some of our alumni were, some were not. But if you're not, it still is flexible and there are still options available to you. But really in the design, we're thinking about those who have other commitments, have other responsibilities, knowing that if it's built for them, then really it can work for anyone. So we've made a lot of options available to you and a lot of choices. You've already heard us mention the full workload and the half workload, for instance, and we'll unpack that a little bit. But we want to give you as many options as possible so that you can construct the program in such a way that it's designed to help you get across the line and ultimately qualify for the IAC exam. So our program is SAICA endorsed. Our graduates who successfully complete our PGDA do go on to write the first board exam, the IAC, and that means that we are moving with the CA of the Future Competency Framework, which you might have heard about. We're building that into our program and we're preparing you for the exam that you're going to write after that. There are a lot of options, as I've mentioned, in the program. We have 2 intakes a year. So we have an intake, and this is more for those thinking about joining us in the February program. We're starting on the 2nd of February next year. But we also have an intake that happens in July. And so if you're wanting to join us then, that's also an option. It is a full year program. So there are 21 teaching weeks, and we'll talk just in a moment about what a teaching week looks like, what it is. But essentially the program takes 10 academic months. So from the time you start to when you write exams, you're looking at about 10 months. And those will be a long and a hard 10 months. I'm not going to pretend that PGDA is easy. It is definitely not easy. We can do everything we can to support you. We will never be able to take the hard out of PGDA, but we do want you to never feel alone on that journey. And so our program is designed to help you feel like you would feel even in a contact institution in terms of the support that you receive from the academics and from the SSWAs such as Angela and the rest of her team to help you in a holistic way on that journey. So it's not just about, do you know how to do your journal entries? We're also talking to you about your mental health and your balance and how you're taking care of yourself throughout the journey. We'll unpack that a little bit more as we go. And then a big question that we often get in these sessions is, what are the entry requirements? So in order to be eligible to apply for the program, you need to have a SAICA-endorsed undergraduate degree that has been acquired in the last 3 years. So if you have a gap of more than 3 years, so if we're talking about, let's think about that. If you're talking about starting in 2026, 25, 24, 23, so we're looking at people who graduate at the end of 22. That would be the last kind of cohort that we would consider taking directly into the PGDA next year, January. If it's been longer than that for you since you qualified and got your undergrad, then you would need to do our bridging program before coming into the PGDA, and we'll talk about that more tomorrow evening. But if you've gotten your BCom or whatever your undergrad is called and it's SAICA endorsed and it was in 23, 24, 25, then you can join our PGDA into 2026. So we spoke a little bit about the full workload and the half workload before. The full workload, which is what Zainab alluded to having done for PGDA, is where you commit to doing 40 hours per week in each of those 21 teaching weeks. And it's essentially studying full time. Now, bear in mind, I said that this program is designed for students who already have a full-time job. And so that's a big ask to do your 40-hour regular day job and another 40 hours on top of that for PGDA. Now, people have done that. Mzumpiwe did that. He was working full-time and he did this full-time. And we have many successful students who do that in this program. But there are also people for whom that is actually a little bit too much. And looking at the time required, it's not feasible to find another 40 hours. And so you've got to evaluate your own circumstances and almost your own appetite for like how much time you can give this. And if it feels like it is too much, then we have the half workload option. Now, in the half workload option, you only need to commit 20 hours per week, at least in the first year of the program. And essentially what we're doing is we're taking the PGDA and we spread it over 2 years. So in the first year, you would do management, accounting, and finance, as well as corporate governance and auditing. And then in the second year, you're going to focus, if you pass those 2 courses, in the second year, you'll focus on tax and on financial reporting. And at the end of that, you will write all 4 exams because you need to pass them simultaneously in order to qualify for IAC. Rodney, maybe it would be good to hear from you and about why you chose to do half workload. And I mean, it makes it longer. And a lot of people feel like that's a bit of a downer in terms of like wanting to qualify, wanting to reach their goals. What is kind of your thought process in terms of going the half workload route?
Well, there's actually 2 reasons for me. The one is affordability. With half workload, it's basically half the fee. You pay the full fee, but it's spread over a longer time. And the other reason, and probably the biggest reason, is time. 40 hours a week doesn't sound a lot. It is. It really is a lot. I only did the half workload, which was 20 hours a week, but still, it's 20 hours effective study. So you're gonna have to budget extra time for maybe going to go print the documents or the whatever you need, maybe getting files and stationery, or maybe reading through or getting things sorted, and so that also takes time. But effective studying, that's the 20 hours we're talking about. And so for me, it just worked a lot better to do the half workload from the bat. Yeah, put a few hours in each night, and that's how I did it. Yeah.
If you had to make the choice again, Rodney, would you make the same choice?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. PGDA, don't underestimate it. For the first timers, you don't know how tough it is until you do it, and for the ones who have tried it, trust me, I've tried it once. You need to really commit to it. You need to really put in the hours.
Yeah. Now, I did warn Rodney that I was going to do this, but I wanted to point out that Rodney's actually done really well academically. He's been an exceptional student. He's performed very well both in our bridging program and our PGDA. And I highlight that to say Rodney did not choose to do half workload because he wasn't academically equipped to do the full workload. It's not an academic decision. Please hear me when I say it's about how much time you have available. And so if you're in a situation like Rodney, you're like, gosh, 40 hours on top of my other commitments is actually just unsustainable, particularly for 10 months. It's a long time. The half workload is a really great option. And as Rodney mentioned, it also does spread the cost of the PGDA, which can make it more affordable. So that's lovely. Zainab, if we could maybe get you on stage and just hear your perspective, because you've done both half workload on the bridging program and full workload on the PGDA, and the bridging and the PGDA really function very similarly. How would you contrast those two experiences, and what kind of advice would you give to somebody who's trying to make that decision for themselves?
So the half workload, I found I managed to go through the material more slowly and more thoroughly. Sometimes I had a chance to watch the videos again on like two times speed, and then do the questions, and then still attend the live sessions because I had the time to do it. Although I must tell you, I used to sit up late at nights and do it, and didn't sacrifice anything during the day because I couldn't let anything else go. But and then I realized, what, maybe I would give it a chance. I would try the PGDA on the full workload, and then I thought like I give myself a out. I'll like try test one and then test two, and then see if I can't manage. I was still gonna say like maybe I should drop to the half workload, but then I was managing, so I thought, what, I'm just gonna carry on and push through. And because I did the full workload, I was the July intake. I had to study for my test three over the December break, which was very, very stressful because I was on holiday in Vietnam with my laptop, studying late at night at the airport, on the plane. And test three is the big test, which I surprisingly, managed to do like reasonably well for. So I can tell you it's a very content heavy and it's time pressure. So you have to, be committed because, all the support is there. We have the come study with me groups, and you have like the consults or the drop-in sessions and Viva Engage, where you can ask your questions and you get answers, and you've got all your peers with you, your colleagues that are going through the same thing. But you have to be passionate, and you have to be committed to it because it's sacrifice. It's sacrifice. You're sacrificing family time. You're sacrificing sleep and self-care. But I can tell you, I'm happy I did the PGDA on a full workload, because after that, it's like when I wrote my exam, I didn't know what to do with myself. I was like, now let me go and open the books again and study.
Freedom. Yeah. Thanks, Zainab. Yeah. And I think that's really helpful. Like it can, I like that you mentioned, Zainab, that you can also change your decision, particularly if you started on full workload. And we see many students who start on a full workload, and once they have a few weeks experience of what the program is like, recognize that actually half workload is going to work better for them. And then they make the switch to half workload. So that's, again, some of the options that are available to students as they engage with the program. So yeah, thank you for mentioning that. And I'm glad that it worked for you. And when you made that decision to go full workload, you had the information of what half workload looked like and how the program worked. And so, yeah, very like an informed decision that you made. And I'm so glad that it worked out for you.
Yes, but you need actually a support structure if you're going to go into the full workload, especially if like you have a full-time family or a full-time job, because there are going to be other balls in your life that are going to drop, and you're going to need somebody else to actually help you there, because this is it's a strenuous thing that you're taking on.
Absolutely, yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Zainab. I'd like to maybe move across then to talk a little bit more about what this academic journey actually looks like. I know for many of you listening, it may seem a bit unknown. Like, what is this online education thing and how does it actually work? Because you may not know, you may never have studied online before. It is still a relatively new thing. Most people had some experience through COVID if you were studying at that time. But our program is quite different from that kind of emergency online programs that we had back in the day. And so, Joné, if I can call on you to maybe come and explain, what does online learning mean in our space? Do we just upload a PDF and now suddenly it's online learning? Like, what can students expect in terms of, I mentioned that these teaching weeks, how does that flow? What does that look like? What can they expect on the day-to-day?
Cool. I just want to say, I'm getting so emotional, like listening to the alumni, like, and the impact that this program is having. So I'm having a little bit of a moment, yeah. So yeah, I think that's a question that a lot of students have. So now when you've registered and you see the program start, like you open your laptop, now what? Like, what does it mean? What do you do? And I think the first thing that I want to say, in all the subject teams, we really have a committed group of academics that have your best interest at heart. Like, we all believe in your journey and, we're there for you, like, throughout the program. And I know you say, like, oh man, that's not necessarily different from what I've had, but I can truly say that I work with the super means for you level, So, like Tracy mentioned, teaching weeks. So in each of the 4 subjects, we have really intentionally designed our material for online consumption. So the material will be a mix of videos, reading that you must do, quizzes, to kind of guide you through a structured learning process, and also to preempt any questions that you might have. So in some of the modules, you might see FAQs or just really intentionally designed learning material. What that then means is on a weekly basis. So we don't just dump all the material on you, right? So we guide you through the process step by step. So material is released on a weekly basis. So every week on a Friday, we release the material that you need to work through for that coming week. If you're on the full workload, the 40 hours, roughly it's 10 hours per subject of material that you need to work through. Half workload, 20 hours of material, so 2 subjects, 10. And that then includes the passive learning that we call it, like watching the little videos, watching or reading the material, and it includes time for application. So the practice questions that you have to do, and yeah, we guide you kind of through that as well, how much time we feel you should spend on the passive learning and how much time you should spend on application. And that's made available every week on a Friday. So Rodney mentioned printing. You can then go and print the slides and the notes and whatever you want to do. And then you basically have a week to work through that material. So then from the following Monday to the Friday, you will engage with the material. I think Tooms will talk a little bit later about the support we have available. So we also don't just leave you. There is avenues that you can engage with if you have questions during that process. So you'll then work through the material for a week. And then the week after that, we have something that's called a live session. So it would not be, we particularly call it a live session. It's not a lecture that you guys might be used to coming from a contact space, because the lecture part, the learning part, has already happened in the content. But a live session is a moment for everyone to come together, for the academic to highlight a little bit about the important things, the things we know that students struggled with in the content, and for you to come with your questions, to have a synchronous moment where you can hear, oh my word, this people also struggle with, I don't know, must I even math example, standard costing, mix and yield variances. Oh my word, I'm not the only one, but let me ask a question. Let us engage around the topic. So, which is one of the support mechanisms that we have on the course. So that's basically what a journey looks like. And at the beginning, it feels overwhelming, but students do settle into the rhythm of the course. So if you stick to the rhythm of the course, you do get used to it. What I want to highlight also is we've got something called an O week, an orientation week, which is a week before we start with content release. That gives you time just to familiarize yourself with the ins and the outs of the PGDA program, what support there is available, what the subject teams are going to expect of you, who your lecturers are, and all of those things. So that is really quite a great week just to kind of settle yourself before the weekly grind, of the lecture material starts. And then must I talk a little bit about assessments? Or are we talking about that later?
I think it would be good, like how the teaching builds your assessments, how many are there, how do they get written?
Yeah. So our year is kind of then structured into 4 units, and after each unit, you will write a formative assessment, a semester test, whatever you used to call it. And those assessments are very much also designed with the end in mind, because we know we need to get you in terms of the final exam, and then ultimately to pass your IAC assessment. So after every unit, you will write a formative assessment. It will be marked. You will get feedback, structured feedback and guidance to help you reflect on that assessment. So you'll write test 1, test 2, test 3, and then ultimately working your way up, towards the final exam. We also try and structure or make options available for you guys to write the assessment. So there's venue-based assessments. You can register and write your assessment at a physical venue, but we also offer the option to write your assessment online via proctoring software. And that is also an important part of orientation week. So once you join the program, and in orientation week, they help you step by step through that process, how to choose a venue or to make the choice between writing on a venue at the venue and writing online.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Joné. Tumi, if we can get you out here as well, and stick around, because I'm sure you might want to add a few things as well. But Tums, if you could maybe talk a bit about what are the academic support options available to students. Joné's mentioned live sessions, but I imagine that for students who haven't experienced this before, there might be quite a fear of being like, what do I do if I'm stuck? Like, I'm really all alone. Like, what happens?
So I think it's important to first and foremost speak about how this online environment actually fosters connection. So we want you as a student to feel connected with your fellow students, but you also connect with us as the academic staff, as well as the SSWA staff. So from a support point of view, from an academic point of view, we obviously have the live sessions. And I think I want to reiterate Joné's point about that. It's not a lecture. It's actually touch points for us each week to connect with the students, but we're using the topic, the previous week's topic, to actually talk about big picture. This is what it is. And it's an opportunity for us and for yourself to connect with us as well as other students. You'll see as you go into it, sometimes the chat will have certain things, there's banter, but there's also questions that obviously are content specific. And so that is something, even as the academic staff, we look forward to those live sessions, because it's an opportunity for us to connect with that cohort. What we also have, we've got one-on-one consultations. So we have a booking system where you basically then book a consult with either myself or one of the ATs, and you can have a one-on-one 25-minute consultation. In certain instances, we've seen that some students have like a study group, so they'll maybe book that consult and then share that link with the group of students. We also encourage that. And that's also another way where it's a touch point where you actually want to have the opportunity to speak. Sometimes someone says it's easier to explain my question than write it out. And the consults also give students the opportunity to do that. I always find personally that consultations revive me. It always gives me an opportunity to see where the students are. It might be one student, but there's elements of it where we can see, okay, this is what the students are struggling with. This is what we need to probably update in a practice question, etc. What we also have, which is something that most students use, is we call it Viva. We call it Viva Engage, and it's almost like an academic Facebook. So where it's a campus, it's like social media in the sense that you can post your questions there. Excuse me, and you are then able to, an academic or sometimes even a fellow student can answer that question. And it fosters that community, because you'll see once you get into the program, we actually encourage you to, update your profile picture, just post something on Viva Engage so that you sort of get a feel of what it is. And then when you've got a certain practice question answer, like you're probably studying at 2 a.m., you post it there. And in certain instances, a student will do it, but within 24 hours, our academics will also assist in answering that question. If you feel like Viva Engage is too telling and it's too public for you, you don't want your things in there, which is something that I also feel like I'm too much of a private person to have my struggles out there, then we have we've got a help desk where you can actually then submit your query. So the difference with VE or Viva Engage and the help desk is that the help desk is privatized. It's private, so it's basically I will only see your query. And you can essentially go, I'm struggling with this concept of equity accounting. Could you explain? I was doing this PQ. I'm not understanding these journal entries, for example. And then we will then answer your question. What we see, we've got various support channels, but what's important, we always encourage students that not everything is for you. So maybe Viva Engage, you love it, because what we find is useful with Viva Engage is that sometimes maybe there's a practice question that someone has posted. You probably only get to that practice question a bit later. You can search for that practice question and see the answer, and then be able to go, oh, this is actually what someone had asked. Some students prefer the help desk because it's private, and they basically feel like then I can share my struggles with an academic without someone looking at it and saying, oh, why are you so dumb? But our students don't do that. Our students on VE are quite, even when they're answering other questions, you'll see there's that camaraderie that's within that support channel. So I think I really want to emphasize the community that we have. It's a community of students. Everyone said where they were across the country, but there's the connection that Milpark fosters, and it really helps with the PGDA, that the PGDA is difficult, it's hard, but that connection, that support just makes it a lot more doable.
Awesome. Thanks, Sumi. That's really helpful. So I love that you mentioned there are a lot of options, but not everyone is like required to use all of them. So you can find the ones that worked for you, and engage on those. And we see some students prefer live sessions, some prefer consults, some prefer help desk, some prefer VE, some use a combination at different times. So you can really use the support option that most appeals to you and is most going to support you on your journey. And some students never reach out and are fine, and some reach out a lot. There's a spectrum, but you can tailor it to suit your needs.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because we've had instances where someone is quiet, but they become top performers, and you start going, okay, so the program is actually designed. You can do the program and pass and do well without engaging with those support mechanisms.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for mentioning that. I think it's important that everyone understands that the course is designed to be done entirely asynchronously. Like you can do it in your own time. It's entirely flexible. Even if you were to ask for support options, it doesn't have to be synchronous. It could be Viva Engage post and you see the response the next time you're online. But then they are synchronous, meaning like in person or live interactions if you want that. And so we're trying to cater for all the needs.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks, Jimmy. Angela, maybe we can move over to you and talk about some of the non-academic support that is available to me. And you know, I've talked about from an academic perspective, like there's a lot of content in the PGDA, but we don't come into a PGDA as a machine that's got to learn. We come in as people with emotions and struggles and all sorts of other things happening. And you and the other SSWAs, who we like to refer to as our swans, always calm and collected, are always there to support and help students. So can you maybe talk about some of the things that are available that your team is facilitating?
Yeah, thank you, Tracy. Yeah, so like you mentioned, you know, with the studies and everything, it's not just we recognize that there's more that can affect your academic journey than just your difficulties with the content and, you know, with the program. So we really want to support you through your entire journey at Milpark while you're here. So with that, you know, we call ourselves, like she said, swans or SSWAs or the SSW team. So yeah, we're here to support you through all of that. And some of the offerings that we have include, just like the lecturers, we have consultations that we offer the students. And what this looks like is not just looking at your academic success. Like, yes, we can help with time management and study techniques and academic writing and different things in that regard. But we can also assist when it comes to more personal or psychosocial issues. And currently, our team consists of registered counselors. So we are also qualified to assist with the more personal element as well. So we do encourage students to not feel like they have to deal with those things alone and actually bring it to us as well. And it's, you know, it's a safe space, and we keep things confidential, and we really try to support in those consults. Then we also have drop-in sessions. I think you've heard from some of the alumni that I've mentioned now, and our students really love these drop-in sessions. What they are is almost a support group for the students, and we meet on once a week in the evening, and then once a week during lunchtime for those who are working. And this is just a really good space for students to come together and connect. There are no lecturers allowed or involved. It's very much just the students and us, and we're just there to facilitate. But it's for the students to connect with each other, to build that community, and that's something that I've personally seen and has been so encouraging when students actually support each other. Because, you know, I'm sure with online learning, there's those thoughts of separation, maybe feeling a bit isolated, but these drop-in sessions have really helped bring people together and find that community within the online space. So yeah, it's a really good initiative. And then we also do live sessions as well. So not the same way the lecturers have their live sessions. Ours, we can focus on academic success, like I mentioned earlier, time management and things like that. But we often try to cater our sessions to the time of year the students may be in. So maybe it's before a test, a big test, or before exams, or after a test, and, you know, trying to look at topics that can really speak to the students at that time. So maybe it's managing stress and anxiety before a test, or trying to regain your confidence after a really big test. So we really try to bring in that wellness and that mental health element, because we know it's so important for you to also prioritize that in the space. And then just a few other offerings that we have. You see, there's a lot of things here. We also have Come Study With Me, which the other alumni also brought up. And that's almost like an online library that we've started, or a study space where students can get together and, you know, study. It's synchronous at the same time, but in your own independent spaces, you're just studying and doing your own thing, but you're not alone. And I think it's, again, a nice space to feel like you're connected to other people. And students like to use that chat box and talk about their struggles. But it's also good just to have that support there. And then also for the program, we do have student representatives. So we also feel that it's so important that the students have people in their own cohort to represent and be the voice of that group. So if you have any issues, those are the people you go to, and it's just great because it allows us to collaborate better with the students and with the group, so that we can best support you through your journey. And you know that there's someone you can go to say, this is actually what I've been struggling with on the program. Can you please bring this to the staff so we can address it and see if there's something that can be done. Yeah, and we also have a mentorship program. And this is a really great initiative because it allows students to be supported throughout their journey in PGDA. You're welcome. It's a voluntary program or initiative where you can sign up to have a mentor, and this will be one of the alumni. So it will be someone who's been through the program. They know exactly what you're going through, and they can just help support through that journey. So it's really great to have that connection. They're not tutors per se, but they're more so just there to walk alongside you, give you that guidance, and just help you in this journey. And then the last thing that I'm going to mention is October Health. This is a support initiative that we've collaborated with Milpark and October Health, just to provide you that extra layer of support and care. And again, like the others have already mentioned, you don't need to use all of these options. You decide what works for you. But October Health is a nice initiative because it's an application that you can download on your phone, and it just assists with mental wellness. So they've got live sessions on there that tackle multitude of topics. Could be parenting, time management, work-life balance. It's almost like podcasts that you can listen to in your own time. There's also a 24-hour helpline on there. So if you need that assistance, you just need to talk to someone, there's always somebody available that you can speak to, and a whole bunch of other things that they have on there. So when you are a Milpark student, you have access to all these features. So it's a really, really great extra support that we offer here.
Awesome. Thank you, Angela. Yeah, I mean, your team does a lot to support students on this journey. Angela did mention it, but just to say, Angela and the other SSWs are not accountants. They are registered counselors. They are mental health professionals who have insight and training in that space and can help you. I mean, we have students dealing with hectic life circumstances, whether that's physical illness or loss of some sort throughout the program. And there's always somebody who's trained and available to support you and also direct you to other resources if you do need that. And so I really feel like Angela and the team play a vital role in this program because, as I said, you don't come in just as a brain, you come in as a whole person, and we want to serve the whole person in this program and recognize that there's a lot that goes on in this journey, and we want to support you through all of that. Thank you, Angela. That was really informative. I'd really love to hear from the alumni now and to hear about your experiences. We've spoken a lot about all of the support options. We've spoken about the workloads. And so I'm sure that everybody here would just love to hear from each of you about, what was it that you used? What was helpful for you? What was your experience like? And yeah, like, what would you share? What do you wish you had known if you were in the position of the prospective student? So Mzumpiwe, we haven't heard from you. Why don't you go first and just, I think, am I correct that you did have a mentor? Did you use the mentorship program in this?
Yes, I do had a mentor. I had a mentor.
Yeah. So why don't you chat about like your experience, that support option, other support options that were good for you, and what it was like doing the full workload while working?
Oh, thanks, Tracy. Let me start off by mentioning the relationship I had with my mentor. There's this guy which was my mentor, which was allocated to me by Milpark through their support, which is led by Angela. I think I was overwhelming that guy because every time I was feeling down, I would I was texting that guy every time. I feel like this PGDA is not coming along now. My guy, I feel like I want to give up now because my marks are not the one that I expected. And that guy was so calm and like relaxing me, telling me that, no, my guy is capable. I've been through this journey and you looking at your marks, you can still make it. Don't be too much on yourself. And that has assisted so much because I was able to remain calm in all the situations because he always reminded me that your capabilities, he would like tell me like, he would spot a positive thing from my marks. You see question one, you did very well in question one. So why don't you look at that? So that thing alone has made me believe that PGDA is something that is possible. Because when you're doing a full workload, I was doing full workload and I was also working full time. It was quite overwhelming, and sometimes I would want to plan to do something, and I get a message from my manager, please do this and this and this, so that it can be ready for me tomorrow. And in that time, that's when you feel like you just don't have a life balance. Work is taking too much, so that sometimes it's just too easy to sacrifice your studies when you are faced with that situation. But then remaining committed to your dreams and goal, it also assists because you can also have to communicate upfront that these are the things you are dealing with. You're having a class at this time. I prioritize the live session that Tom was discussing. That was my priority. Make sure that I don't miss the half past five class, because that's when I get to catch up with my fellow student, with the academics. And when you are in that class, you don't feel alone, because it's so easy to feel alone in this journey of PGDA, because it gets difficult and you get the marks that you never thought you would get sometimes. And now when you get to hear some people who are going through what you're going through, it makes things a little bit less of a pain, if I may say, because you get to understand that you are not alone in this journey. And what I also like is Viva Engaged. Viva Engaged is a campus on its own, because you get to meet people there, communicate. You happen to just post a question and everyone is willing to assist, not limited to the academics. Even my fellow students are there to assist. And what is good about it, you can go back to their responses, because it's always there. Sometimes someone will ask a question that you don't, maybe you haven't attempted that question at the time, but when you attempt that question, you just remember, I remember seeing this thing. Let me scroll through, let me scroll there. Then you get all your answers. And sometimes you can take even the conversation from Viva Engage to your WhatsApp, because people are always willing to help. Because I've made friends that I don't haven't seen just through Viva Engaged, with just discussing. And again, the option of having to write in a venue, because there's Proctoria where you write online, then there's an option to write in a venue. I remember my test one, I wrote it online. That was not a good experience. That was a good experience. So from there I thought, no, let me sign up to write in a venue, because when I wrote in a venue, I feel like everything was easy. Not to say writing online is a struggle, is what, but I just preferred writing online, in a venue, because I see people who are in this, and my mind is like, my mind is here, like I know that I'm writing. I see this is an exam room and everyone is writing what I'm writing, going through the feelings I'm going through right now, which is very much uh, welcoming, if I may put it that way. Also, not to limit the conversation that Angela was sharing, the drop-in session, people can share. I just go there. I don't remember saying something. But when you go there, you see that I have a family here, because everyone is venting. That test, there are a lot of workload. I'm like, yes, I'm not alone here, because now everyone is experiencing the same thing that I'm experiencing. Like, guys, I've been watching these videos. I can't seem to finish a chapter. Yes, this is what I'm going through also. So, and And by that, it eliminates a lot of things to me, because it eliminates like the thoughts of giving up. It eliminates the thoughts of thinking that you're not good enough. The thought of thinking maybe I should try again next year. Because it's so easy to say maybe I should try again next year, and you'll postpone it forever if you're just not committed to it, because it gets information gets too much, because as they were saying that they expect you to dedicate 40 hours per week, which I don't know where you're going to get that 40 hours, but you still have to do it. You still have to do it. So doing that, but doing with Milpark, that was the best option, and they are very supportive. They offer, they have so much initiatives that seek to capacitate you for that you can pass and be eligible to do your IAC, which is very great. I think I'm grateful to do the PGDA with Milpark. Thank you,
Awesome.
Tracy.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's lovely to hear about your experience and the different mechanisms that were helpful for you. Melissa, do you want to share about your experience and how you experienced the course? What was helpful for you? What support options you did and maybe did not want to try?
Okay, Tracy. To answer your question, what I would tell myself now in your position, now that I've gone through PGDA as a student, is I would have told myself to relax and to trust that I'm in capable hands at Milpark. So for me, I was fortunate enough to do the PGDA on full workload. So yeah, I tried to squeeze in the 8 hours a day. I had to plan ahead every day, because if you fail to plan, you are going to fall back real quickly. And PGDA is very content heavy. So you would really need to try by all means not to fall back. But even with that, the luxury of having recorded lectures and recorded live sessions is also nice, because you can go back, because life isn't always linear. Sometimes you have to attend to an emergency, and it unfortunately takes away from your study time. So it was really nice to have those recorded lectures and the solutions as well. You have them on time, so you don't have to wait for the live session to get the solution, or the following week while you're doing your assignments. And I really leaned on the live sessions. I thoroughly enjoyed them. I'm a person who loves prompt responses. So for me, that really worked for me. And Viva Engage as well. Like, guys, Viva Engage is a very, very, very helpful community. Like Mzumpiwe mentioned, students will vent there. You will feel like you're not alone. You will really feel the support from Viva Engage. And I also opted for the venue-based assessments. So that's where I got to meet other people. I made a couple of friends, exchanged numbers, and we were studying online for exams and tests, and just have like sessions on Teams, especially for modules like auditing. We would just like talk through some of the principles, because it can be exhausting to write auditing out for 3 hours, and next thing you know, you're not even writing the correct things. So it was really nice to be able to form like a small group of people from the venue-based assessments to like have a small community outside of Viva Engage with them. And I really don't regret choosing Milpark. PGDA is hard, so you really need all the support you can get. And I can also attest to the fact that Milpark has invested a lot in the quality of the academic staff that they had. So in 2019, I attended a critical thinking workshop at a contact university that I was studying in. And the person who facilitated this workshop was actually Joné. And I remember thinking to myself, I wish I could get a lecturer like her one day, or her, in fact. And well, the universe listens. So I was pleasantly surprised when I first met Joné in a live session for math. And from then on, it just really confirmed that the academic staff is impeccable and I'm in good hands. So for me, I've really had a pleasant experience at Milpark, and I'm glad I took the decision to try the online learning space. And even just think of it like this, you already know what contact is. I mean, it's always nice to try something new and see if you can do it. and to be successful in it just proves that you can try new things, challenge yourself, and be able to pull through. So I really don't regret the choice that I made.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Elisa. Lovely to hear your experience. And I didn't know that you had encountered Joné before, but yeah, she was. That's a lovely connection there. Zainab, how about your thoughts? Can you share with us about, I mean, we have, yeah, anything that stands out to you?
For me, what I can say is that the online sessions, the live sessions, actually, I didn't manage to attend them. I didn't manage to attend the live sessions live. So the nice thing is that they always recorded so that you could go back and still, watch them after, because with the timing of the live sessions, it was always either dinner time or, bath time for the kids, or fetching them from school or something. So I had to just prioritize that. I would watch like the first 15-20 minutes, and then I would have to leave, and then I could always go back and watch it again. So that's the nice thing, that you always have the recordings there so that you can go back and you can watch it, or you can pause and watch it whenever it's convenient for you. For me, that was very helpful. Viva Engage, I really love that, because if you have a question and you post it on there, even if it's in the middle of the night, you find somebody is awake and you get a response even before the academics or lecturer can tend to it. And so it felt more like more like a family. Well, not even just a community, it was like more like a family, because you knew you always had somebody there, and everybody was going through the same thing. It was very encouraging for me, because education is deeply personal, which is one of the things that Milpark does believe in, and they support you through that throughout, with all their structures in place, with the consults and the drop-in sessions, which I also attended for time management, and that really did help me, because I needed to find a way to manage my time effectively, and then to try not to burn myself out, because I actually ended up doing that towards the final exam, and then ended up deferring my 2 papers. That's why I wrote the deferred paper and passed my PGDA only in September. So attempting to write IAC for the first time in January. Otherwise, I would have been done already, hopefully, by June. But so you have to take it easy, and you need to use all the support. And I don't regret doing it online, because I feel that at a contact university, you have to be there at a certain time. If you miss something, it's gone. You can't pause a lecture and then go back and then watch it again, and then clarify yourself, and get a proper understanding of the content. Also, with Milpark, there's no DP requirements for PQs with your practice questions, and that you don't have to attend a certain amount of lectures, or there's no so you can always write it, even if you find that you did very badly in one subject and you're scared that you're not going to make it, and then you can just put in the time and the effort, and eventually when you write the next test, you'll be surprised that you actually do better in that subject. So I can tell you now that if you are sitting here wondering if you can do it, I'm here to say yes, you can. You are capable, you're worthy, and your story, like mine, can become a powerful testimony of hope and resilience and transformation for somebody else. You never know. So always give it a chance. I think you won't regret it.
Thank you, Zainab. That's awesome. Really appreciate it. Your story is inspiring. I love that as a mom of 4, you chose to take on this journey. We actually
You're
have a lot.
muted, Tracy.
Oh, no, I'm not. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, sorry, I've been told I'm muted, but I think everyone can hear me. Cool. Yeah, so I was just saying, I really think your story is really inspiring, and I think it's wonderful that you came back to this journey after having children and everything. And I hope it gives inspiration to others out there who maybe are considering that journey. We are out of time, but I really do want to say thank you to everyone on the panel for your help, interested in helping share information about the program, to answer questions that are coming through in the chat. Thank you to everyone who has raised questions. I know there's a lot of information out there, and there are a lot of different types of questions. if you have a question and we haven't managed to address it in this session, your options are firstly to look at our website. There's quite a lot of information available on the website. And so if there's something that you're wanting to know, you may be able to find it there. Otherwise, please feel free to reach out to us on our help desk. That's helpdesk@milpark.ac.za. And one of our support staff will be happy to assist you on that journey and give you any information that you may need. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We really appreciate your time. Thank you so much to the alumni who's joined us. It's extra special to have you. And thank you also to the members of my team who've been here. I appreciate your time and the investment that you're making to help us get the word out. We look forward to welcoming you onto the PGDA program and to walking a really special journey with you as you pursue your dream of becoming a chartered accountant. So thank you for your time this evening, everyone. We will be in touch. You know where to find us, and we wish you all the best for the next few weeks as we wrap up the year. Yeah, exciting.